Well, to make a weed puller, homemade, you can buy a bandsaw blade, get the longest ones they make. It's about 93.5 inches. There's some that are 80 and they run about the same price. This was under $10. And you cut these lengths about 14 inches long. You don't cut them, you just bend them. I started at the weld joint. See, that's where it was welded. And I just flex it back and forth, past 90 degrees, almost all the way over. And it will break. And then you just do there and it breaks. And it'll keep breaking. And if it's got a little bit of a bent up place, just put it on a vise and hit it with a hammer and it'll be flat. And what you're trying to do is get a piece that looks like that. And then I took a dowel. This thing is at least an inch wide, if not an inch and a quarter. And I cut 2 widths. Of course, I have a bandsaw, but you could do it with any kind of hacksaw, jigsaw, handsaw. But you want to cut a groove about twice the thickness of that, so it'll slide in. And a real tight fit like that is better. That's a little wider on that side because I can't see what it's. I had to make 2 passes and I can't see what's at the bottom. And then you put this. It'll pop off that clamp. You'll put that in that groove all the way to the bottom in the middle. And then I will take a little teeny wooden wedge and push it down in there. And then I will take epoxy. And the best way to mix up epoxy is on the bottom of a clean can. And I use, like, you wouldn't believe it, wouldn't fall out of there, old popsicle sticks that I cut up, and I can stir it up with that, and I can shave that down with a knife, and I can squeeze epoxy across that plug and down into this hole. And that one's got a little beaker, so it's real easy to get epoxy in there, and fill it all the way up. Wait for the epoxy to set. Some of this takes longer. This really is 12 hours or more to really be hard. And then I put a groove in mine all the way around it because I'm going to put a wire in there and twist it and fold the wire down over that groove, and then I'm going to put tape on it. And if you want a smoother handle to hold on to, if you really want to, you could groove little fingerprints in it, or just put electric tape on it, something to grip it by. And that's pretty much it. And then when you're pulling, all those teeth bite into the weeds, and they work. In fact, I got an old one around here that I came home to get. Now, I bought these bandsaw blades because the bandsaw blades for my bandsaw cost a lot more than $9 and some cents, and I'm not going to blow a blade that costs a lot more, where these will work. Now, this is one I made probably 15 or 20 years ago. And see, I just put wooden wedges in it and drilled a hole because it's a small diameter blade. That you could drill a hole that deep if you really wanted to, but I find it works better with a wire around it and epoxy on a bigger blade. And the others I can't find, they probably got broken. They do break because they have tensile strength, but you can see this one's been used, and it's old as Methuselah. And this is really great for getting up around bedding plants and pulling weeds back out. So I'll finish one and show you what it looks like. Well, I had an old piece of wire laying around in my garage, which would work because it'll fit the groove, and I just cut a piece that's a little longer on each side, and you spread them apart and take machinist pliers, they don't close up all the way, and you twist them up until it all goes down in the groove. And then you cut it off and you stuff the end down in there where you're going to epoxy it. And I'll try to fill that with epoxy up and around this wire at the opening. Well, I'm upstairs in my study where I could run the air conditioner while I did these, and with epoxy they don't give you but so much time to mix it and put it on each one. I did 6 of these, and I mixed up epoxy 3 different times, enough to do 2. And what I did is cut a thin piece of wood and stuffed it down. What you want to do is the blade side has more grip on it, so in that groove on the right hand side, you would stuff it down in there with a thin piece of wood until it fills up the hole. Then you'd stuff this side full till it fills up the hole, so it's gripping the side of that blade and keeps it from pulling out after you use it a long time. And I put some in the middle. We're not looking for beauty here because we just want a tool that'll work. And I put some on both sides, and I covered the wire. And then all I have to do is wait for these to cure. And after they cure, it'll be ready to go. I was running out of popsicle sticks, so I used an old paint stirrer and cut it into strips. And I used this one on to stir it up with. And I used that one to push it down in the hole. And if I needed it, I made these so that I could push the epoxy down in the holes. Well, I took a little storage tub top just to have put somewhere, since I'm upstairs in our smallest bedroom. When the children left, we turned it into a study. I say we, I'm the one that's in here. It's my little man cave. But there is my 6 weed pullers. And when I'm done, I just put all my little wooden pieces that I used to put epoxy on in the package, put a couple of rubber bands around it, and I won't have to cut any the next time I use it. And it's rare to use a whole package of this epoxy. It usually goes bad first. The best blade to use on this is a more aggressive blade for rough cutting, which would have deeper kerfs and longer points. That's what I look for, but Lowe's didn't have one that way. My bandsaw has deeper one, and I made these out of, bandsaws will break from time to time, and I always use those teethed bandsaws for other things like weed removing tools. But if you can buy a bandsaw, or if you know somebody that does carpentry work and has a bandsaw, he might have a few broken blades. And if you can find the ones with the real deep kerfs, they're about 3 times as, the points are 3 times as deep as that. They dig better in the weeds. But these will work. The others just work better. And of course some weeds are harder to get up than others. Like that, see, it went through. They have a little nub under it, see it? If you get behind it, you'll get it out. Sometimes they get clogged up on the teeth and regular little weeds, it's nothing for it because it'll just cut right on through the soil. You can take the top off. Now I hold that one up near the wire because that loop is just a little bit bigger. I just randomly pick one up. The bigger it is, the more that it will shift left and right. And I just hold my hand like that and I can control it. And that's wiregrass. It goes forever. You want to work on that big old dandelion there. Look at the root on that thing. But it'll make quick work of it.